Hey, welcome. We're gonna look at pictures from the forest garden from 2023. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. It's gonna be a nice little journey through the seasons. Okay, thank you for joining me. And of course, right now it looks something like this, even though this is from 2022, at the end of the year, in December. A lot of snow on the greenhouse. But yeah, it looks like there's a lot of snow again. Even though sometimes it melts and sometimes there's more, but there's a lot of piles around everywhere right now. But that makes it so nice then to look at the pictures from the summer. Yes, so here's some blackcurrant bushes that I've rooted from cuttings, and this is how it starts. So I made these when the plants are dormant, so when they don't have leaves, when it's cold enough that the leaves have fallen off, but it's not like terribly freezing, like a bit over the freezing point of water, so a few degrees Celsius plus. Then I cut these pieces, like, what are they? Maybe they're 30 centimeters or 25. And plopped them to root in some soil, took them outside. Then when I was done, defrosted some soil for this. I had a bucket of soil and I took it inside, defrosted, and then used that soil. So that's what I did then, it was in the winter. Maybe it was 2023 March or something like that. It's still winter for us. And then later in the summer it looked like this already. So that's awesome. So you can make more currant bushes. Especially blackcurrant is easy to root. So you can make more of them. This is where it's from, like the cuttings. We have a few of these 30-year-old bushes. You take like the young, maybe a year-old growth. The older branches don't root as well. So take like a younger branch that is like maybe like a thin pen, and then you check that it has like viable sprouts on it. So you can also try this. Okay. But then that's also the first one of the first things that sprout when the spring comes is the currant cuttings. So it's a sign of spring. Here they're in these cardboard pots, and then there's some other pots with some tiny little trees and stuff. But yeah, that's always like nice to see. And here is sorrel. That's also something that keeps growing in the winter. right after the snow is gone, it's already growing again. I can see it. It's one of the first things too that you can spot in the spring here. And yeah, it's tastes like sour. It's nice in salads to give a little bit of like taste, more sour taste. Nice, a nice one. Yeah. Then here you can see a dug bed, so I dug into the sand because part of the yard is sand. So I dug the sand out, put some different soil in, and planted some red clovers, different sorrels, and a little bit some other stuff too. And here in the corner is some sweet William, which is like biannual. It flowers the second year. So this is then from later in the summer. The first one here in the corner, it's from 2022 when I planted them in the fall. Then it's in the spring when they're just starting to come out after the snow was gone. And then this picture with the flowering, it's from the summer, probably like July. So it looks almost like there's nothing coming first, but then they come back, and it's really nice. And some of these are then perennials like the sorrel, and I think the clovers should be too, so they will keep coming back. And clovers also, they're nitrogen fixers, so that's very useful too. Here we got nice spruce. Spruce tips is a very good remedy. It is high in vitamin C, so you go and you gather, with permission from the landowner, these tips of the new growth of the spruce in the spring. I think it's like in May or so, when this still look like this, like light green, the tips, the new growth. So you can gather that, and then you can infuse tea out of it, and that's really good for if you have a cold or something, or just need some vitamin C. Yeah. So I usually gather them and put them in bags like this and put them in the freezer. So then I can, when I need it, it's fresh from the freezer, I can make a tea. So that's a little idea in case you have a freezer and some spruce growing. Maybe you can try it next time. Okay. So here's a little bit further into the spring, where the little tree babies are getting some leaves, and the dug-in bed is starting to grow out a bit more, and here the currant bush is flowering. So I think this is late May, starting to be more growth at that time, which is nice. Okay, here is some apple trees sprouted from seeds. Like, the Finnish apples because I'm in Finland. So yeah, the apples from abroad probably wouldn't work, but I'm gonna use the seeds from Finnish apples as an experiment to see how well they grow. So I planted out some of them that had sprouted very close to each other in the pots. I also have some in still that are still just in pots. So we'll see how that turns out. But that was one thing I did. I planted some of them out into the sanctuary area where there's a lot of like wild plants growing for the most part. All right, so here is one of those apple trees planted out in the sanctuary space. And I used some mulch around it. I think it's like I cut down some lupin, which is here invasive species, but it's also nitrogen fixer. So I cut down that and used it as mulch to keep stuff from growing up too close to the seedlings so that they will have light. And at the same time, they will slowly release the nutrients. The mulch there. And then I painted the greenhouse. The greenhouse became an actually green greenhouse now. So it has a protective layer of paint now, looking a bit more done. And yeah, that makes me happy. And I think it fits very well with the green. Me and my dad made this in 2020, this greenhouse. And well, another thing I did this 2023 earlier, like in April and May. This area was like the branches were like everywhere. So I was sawing some of the thicker branches for firewood, and then I was piling the smaller branches up in more like piles so that the plants would have more space to grow, like these bilberry, blueberry plants here, wild berries. And yeah, really made a difference. It was like there was so many branches, it was difficult to walk around because it was like hindering movement. So that got better. I did like maybe 2 weeks of that sort of work in the area, and then my dad said that it was enough for like 2 weeks of warm water for washing what I made, the firewood, which is not a lot, but it's something. Also helped him pile up some bigger firewood, of course. Yeah. So this is another angle on that space. There's some rowan trees here and some grasses and wildflowers and such things. And I call this like the butterfly habitat, or really the butterfly larva habitat. So like there's no tall trees yet. There's a lot of grass that the butterfly larvae eat. So yeah, need that sort of habitat too in the ecosystems of our area. All right. And yeah, some wild flowers. Like here's European goldenrod, and I've really kind of spread it more in here because It's really great for the pollinators to have like any extra nice juicy plants flowering at some point, different points in the year. And also like here's mugwort. It's also called cronsworth. You can use it as a tea in small amounts. And do your own research about it. But like, yeah, when you allow the wild to take over a bit more, you notice like different sort of plants come up. Then you can learn about them and see like what uses they have. And it's really interesting. So yeah, hope this inspires you to find out more. And I really like how it looks too. I had also like put down some acorns and they sprouted in my flower beds and everywhere, so I moved some of them also to the sanctuary space. They take a long time to grow, so I thought that, yeah, why not? Why not plant some of them also in there? Yeah. So here's a butterfly, Erebia emla, and I think it's called the Lapland ringlet, even though this is not Lapland, but it is a bit more rare here in the south. So I saw several of these butterflies in June, like at least 3 times. I saw one of these, and I just quickly snapped a picture when I saw this one. Taking a little break on my marigold seedling here. Yeah, I think like, yeah, it's great to see, because I haven't seen this sort of butterflies, I don't think, in years, even though they are also like, I think, biannually occurring. Like there's more of them every other year, because the larva stage takes 2 years, or yeah, on something like that. But anyways, I think like the sanctuary has been helping them out. So that's awesome. Here's some Sweet William then, to because it's cool and nice, and for the pollinators, and you can also use it as cut flowers in a vase. And then yeah, all kinds of weeds. I love the weeds. Yeah, diversity, man. Diversity. These wild strawberries grow under the blackcurrant bushes. But yeah, here's like an example of like why we need these wilder, more diverse spaces. Why they're very important is because a lot of the surrounding area is this sort of like not diverse, very monotone fields of trees, same kind of tree for huge areas of hectares and hectares of just one sort of tree. And it's very like, there's not much to eat for the wildlife in there. There's not much insect habitat, there's beneficial insects, those need habitat much as well. We really need those beneficial insects if we're gonna keep going. And that includes like predatory insects that kill the pest insects, and it includes also pollinators that help to pollinate our foods and that help keep life going. Yeah, that's why we need these areas of diversity where different species have space to live, because it's an intricate mesh of everyone working together to create these living conditions here. Also, yeah, another thing that we have a lot surrounding here are monocrop fields, the conventional type of grain fields and stuff like this. And yeah, there's not much habitat in there either, for much anything really. Not even the soil microbes, if they're using the factory-made stuff, fertilizers and such. It's been shown to kill the soil microbes, which we actually need for healthy, nutritious food to be operational. So yeah, but meanwhile, while the agriculture or how we grow food is changing, we need these diverse little pockets of ecosystem. Oh my god, yes, we need it so much. So that's why I keep talking about it. And here's one example too, like how these fields of trees are created. Yeah, Scots pine fields. So they come in. This was first clear cut in 2020. Now all the trees were cut down, except for just a few. And then there started coming up like all kinds of diverse trees because of succession. Wind dispersed seeds and stuff like that. There's like, there was a lot of, I was looking at this area. I was looking, there was rowans, willow, alders, and also, gosh, I don't know it in English, but anyways, like diverse leafy trees, really. And what they did in 2023, so 3 years after the clear cut, they came in. I didn't see it, I wasn't there, but they've come in with like they came in to cut everything down that was taller than this. And also like wildflowers and those like leafy trees and even alder, even though it's nitrogen fixing, and sure, we need to grow some Scots pine and stuff, But can't you leave like at least a little bit like at the edges, like for some wildlife habitat of like some more diverse trees and stuff like this? That is that too much to ask? Like really? And to leave like wildflowers to grow, they're not gonna shade your tree seedlings that much. There was like no discernment. It was just everything. Let's just cut down everything. I got really sad. Anyways, yeah, here's how it looked in June, and then in July when after they had cut it down. Yeah, it made me sad. It really made me sad. Okay. And that's why we really need these diverse pockets. So meanwhile, in my little corner of the world, it was looking like this, while their area was drying out and there was really nothing for insects anymore. Not enough to sustain much life at all. But here, luckily next doors, we got the goldenrods, the mugwort, the everything. And in the yard, heal all, it keeps spreading. I'm also spreading it a bit, like when I notice there's seed heads, spread it where I want it to grow. I use it as a tea. Very nice to nice and grounding, and like I feel like it has like an overall balancing and connecting vibe. Also like a mild one, nothing too strong or so. Yeah, check it out. Here's the alders that are grown from seed, and I think it's like second year. Grow slow in the beginning, but now some of them have started to spurt a little bit more. Like, wow, I would really love to have more space to plant more trees. I could even buy some land, maybe a hectare. You can make an offer. You got a piece of land, like a field or other cleared area that I could start fresh to plant more trees there and stuff. Trees and bushes, berries, diversity. Let me know. Really, I think it would benefit the whole area, and yeah, show people a different way of doing things. Yeah. I love alders. They fertilize the surrounding area with their leaves when they release them in the fall. Here's the elder to the left here, where the seeds are from. And that's why I wanted to start more alders, because I don't see them much around. And they're so useful and so beautiful trees. And I think this is like the only big alder that I know of in the area. And I'm like, why? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me, man. So that's why I started more alders. Yeah. To get more diversity, man. And yeah, I still have some soil left in this big bag that I got in 2022. It was a good investment. I've been able to start more plants, and also got some pots back then to create more seedlings. And here the zigzag clover is going wild, and pollinators also love it, and it just naturally occurs. We haven't introduced it. It just keeps spreading. And I like it. It looks nice, and you can also use that as tea if you would like. Yeah. And of course, then like late July, August, the blueberries, bilberries in the forest, the wild berries are starting to ripen. And this is like, I'm showing you like how the roads look where the blueberries grow. You have to go with these old forest roads into the wild, walk in there, and then go off path, go off road. And then I like picking by hand because it gives a different feel than if you use like some sort of something else. I mean, it gives you a real touch on the wilderness and on the food, and it gives you like a real relationship to it, and you'll enjoy those berries even more in the winter if you freeze them and have them later. But like you made an effort to go gather them slowly with your hands, because these berries, they're quite small, but they're very tasty and really quite something. So that's part of our tradition here. I learned from my parents where these berries grow and stuff like that. Okay, so this picture is to illustrate like there's this wild sanctuary area, and then there's the nursery area by the greenhouse where there's like a lot of different I like to focus on perennial plants, trying to get more of those going so that I don't have to start seeds as much every year, so that there would be stuff already growing that I can just then water and take care of when needed. But hopefully it would also be okay for a while if I'm gone. And usually perennials are a bit sturdier in that way. Yeah. And also like because to prepare for or for the future, because I want to expand the sanctuary gardens, of course. So it's good to have plants and to know how to grow more plants. So I'm learning more and more every year about it and about different plants, and I from experience see what works, what doesn't work, and that's really the greatest teacher, experience. Yeah. Here on the left are some willows. Some of them just started growing in the pots, so I saved them. And some are from cuttings. Some willows you can do from cuttings. Not all of them work, but you can try that too. And here's oaky. That's in the was planted like I think 2018. It's been a bit shaded, but it's still growing. And especially now when some trees nearby were cut down for firewood, it started growing still after this picture a bit more last year. So that's been great. And here's another area that several years back was also like there was branches there from trees that were cut down for firewood. So I was like, I'm gonna pile these branches, man. Here's some lingon plants that are growing here. And you know, decomposing wood, it requires nitrogen to decompose. So you wouldn't want to have maybe so much decomposing wood where you are growing plants that can't fix nitrogen themselves. So yeah. So yeah, I moved them away, and this little area, a few square meters, I got 4 liters of lingon from it, and these really nice lingon berries. Also wild berries that just happen to grow there. It's very good in smoothies. And here you can see the pollinators feasting on the European goldenrods. Solidago virgaurea is the plant. Here's a bit more pictures of it. And here are some of the apple trees that I planted earlier in the spring, and then later in the summer it looked like this already. I was like, oh, they've grown so much. So they grow there in the sanctuary area. I wanted to show you this view from a nearby forest. It's like bedrock covered with lichen, and nearby this area there are different like lower valley areas where there grows berries and mushrooms. So I was walking by, and then I was like, oh, that lichen looks nice. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of what I found too. Some nice berries and mushrooms, chanterelles and such. Here's another mushroom find. Made a short about it too. But yeah, these are the most commonly what I tend to gather. The black trumpet, the chanterelles, and then the, oh gosh, suppilovahvero. Yeah, they're really nice. The brown and the black ones you can dry. Doesn't like take any electricity to store them. You can just dry them in the air on like you can dry them on some paper or something, and then you put them in glass jars and they last for a very long time. Just like that, just put them in like a cupboard away from the light, and it will last for a long time, for a year or two at least. The yellow ones, they don't last as well. They're better fresh or frozen. Yeah. So here you can see the fall time picture of the greenhouse. Stuff is starting to bit like go. But I wanted to show that as well, like, yeah, it's not always lush. That's just life, man. It's not always lush. But at the same time, you know, there was like made more of the sorrel plants and sage plants to plant out, and also got some harvest still at this point, and really feels great to have like such a diverse variety of things that nature grows, and that we can then like still diversify with different ideas. And just by like a little bit helping out nature, it can provide even more for us. So yeah, respect nature. All right. Here we go. It's winter now. But you can have some chili to get warm. And thank you very, very, very much for listening. Much gratitude to everyone. Also, yeah. Give the wild some space in your life. You don't have to cut everything down. It will be okay. It won't take over. You can do more strategically. It's like if there's very much of something, sure, you can cut down most of it. But you should think of like the bigger picture of that all of the life forms here have their place. That's what I believe anyways. And it's based on observation. It's not based on some just because I believe. No. It's based on a relationship with nature. You might not know her very well, and what we together need, or how it even works, if you haven't really spent time with her. So I want to do that more again next year with this area. Right now it's covered with snow, so there's not much I can do right now, but again in the spring I will observe and adjust using hand tools, because I don't really like the loud sounds of like a machine saw or something like that. And you can more easily do a lot of damage if you use machine-driven stuff, when in fact, like, by hand tools it's a lot slower, and you might like be like, change your mind before you've done too much damage. Yeah, so it makes you feel like, yeah, I just feel like it's a more present way to do it. And okay, I know it's slower, and sometimes you want to just get things done and move on, but maybe if that's your approach, maybe you could at least give the chance to someone else to try managing some land, someone who doesn't have land. Wouldn't that be great? Like, not everyone has land. I would love to own some land, and I'm working towards it. So, but it doesn't feel like a very easy thing to like find a little piece of land. Like, usually, like, it's either like together with like a house you buy land, or it's like huge areas at once or something like that. It's like, well, what if I would want to be like a small homestead type of grower who would grow food and stuff like that, and also have like a diversity, nature reserve type of vibe, without it being like not touching anything, but like taking care of that the area is diverse, that sort of vibe. And I think, like, please, like, give people like me a chance to do it. Like, that's what we need right now. It's like more people with maybe small areas, but if we're many enough, we can then like work with these slow methods, and that will be better for the diversity, that will be better for the climate, that will be better for local weather, and having local food, having the beneficial insects around, having beauty, and having really feeling like connecting to the life around us, because I don't see like it that us as separate from it. We are all part of the grand tapestry of life. So I hope this inspires you, and there's more content from earlier in the garden if you're interested, and also some video, short video footage from the sanctuary space from last summer, and different things like that, and even some astrology on this channel. So we like it diverse. And there's also some content in Finnish and Swedish even. So welcome to Mossdala. Hope you enjoy your time here, and I'd love to hear from you regarding the videos or anything else that you would like to share. There you can send email, you can send comments, and please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it so much. and appreciate your presence and your time. Thank you.